Today we will discuss the causes of fatty liver disease in detail. Elevated liver enzyme levels are one of the most frequent abnormalities found on blood tests of patients with fatty liver. On their blood work, the patient's ALT and AST, liver enzymes, are elevated. Normal liver enzyme levels should be less than 30. Another word for ALT and AST is transaminases. So, if your transaminases are elevated, your liver is signaling that something is wrong. It is a symptom of liver dysfunction, and the most common cause is fatty liver disease. It is a metabolic disorder in which fat is stored and produced in the liver cells. The problem is that this sets off a continuous cycle of inflammation in the liver. So let's look at it under the microscope. On a liver biopsy, the difference between a healthy liver and a fatty liver can be seen. These massive white blobs are fats that have accumulated inside the liver cells known as hepatocytes. This is a problem because the inflammation that the fat causes can lead to some hepatocytes bursting, and when this happens, the liver enzymes are released into the bloodstream. That is why your blood work shows elevated levels of liver enzymes. Fatty liver disease has become a worldwide epidemic and has affected about a quarter of the U.S. population. It is especially common in people who are obese, overweight, or diabetic. And unfortunately, we are now seeing fatty liver in children. So, what exactly causes fatty liver? Genetics do play an important role. But the standard American diet, also known as the SAD diet, is the leading cause of fatty liver disease. Insulin resistance is another major cause of fatty liver disease. Insulin is a hormone produced by your pancreas that instructs your body cells to absorb blood sugar. Insulin resistance occurs when the body's cells and receptors ignore insulin. As a result, the pancreas must produce more insulin. The bad news is that insulin stimulates fat storage throughout your body, including liver cells. Patients therefore have elevated fasting insulin levels in addition to elevated liver enzyme levels. Additionally, they might have high levels of blood sugar and hemoglobin A1c, which measures the average blood sugar over the previous 3 months. Therefore, this may indicate prediabetes or diabetes. Finally, these patients have elevated levels of cholesterol, particularly triglycerides. Carbs are not your friend when it comes to fatty liver disease. Carbohydrates and vegetables are not an issue in particular. But what it means is processed carbohydrates as well as grains found in bread, pasta, cereals, and rice. This is a major issue if you have a sweet tooth because sugar is a major trigger for fatty liver. For your liver, high fructose corn syrup is like the worst thing you can imagine, and I'll tell you why. It's an ingredient in many sodas and even ketchup. Let me clarify the key distinction between glucose and fructose. Glucose can be utilized by any cell in your body, including your heart, brain, and muscles. Fructose, on the other hand, can only be used by your liver cells, and initiates a process known as de novo lipogenesis, which is the creation of fat and triglycerides within the liver cells. Keep in mind that refined sugar, also known as table sugar, contains 1 molecule of glucose for every 1 molecule of fructose. Alcohol, which breaks down into sugar, can also play a part in fatty liver. Some of you may have heard of foie gras, a French delicacy which is made from a goose's fatty liver. The sad and contentious aspect of this food is that the geese are actually forced to consume large quantities of corn that has been boiled in fat, which causes their liver to become fatty. You don't want your liver to turn into human foie gras. Some patients are diagnosed with fatty liver but show no symptoms. That's because fatty liver is often a silent disease or causes vague symptoms like fatigue or malaise. However, the good news is that fatty liver is an easily curable and reversible condition. The medical term for fatty liver is non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, NAFLD. This merely implies that the patient was not an alcoholic, but keep in mind that because alcohol breaks down into sugar, it still contributes to fatty liver disease. Non-alcoholic steatohepatitis is the next stage, NASH. This is a more severe level of inflammation visible on a liver biopsy. Both non-alcoholic steatohepatitis and non-alcoholic fatty liver disease are curable, which is good news. Because 5 to 12% of patients with fatty liver disease progress to fibrosis and scarring of the liver, which is irreversible and known as cirrhosis, it is critical that we reverse this inflammation while we can. Cirrhosis should be avoided at all costs, which is an end-stage liver disease where your liver is unable to perform its core activities. This causes symptoms such as ascites, fluid accumulation in the abdomen, and edema, fluid accumulation in the legs. The liver becomes incapable of eliminating bilirubin, resulting in jaundice, or yellowing of the skin and eyes. The back pressure from the cirrhotic liver leads to the development of esophageal varices, which are basically veins in the esophagus, and these can pop open and cause life-threatening upper GI bleeding. Ammonia levels increase in cirrhosis, which can impair thinking and result in hepatic encephalopathy. Cirrhosis can also have an impact on your kidneys, resulting in kidney failure. A liver transplant is frequently required for cirrhosis patients as a result of these complications. It is critical that we take better care of our liver because it is one of our most important detox organs. You can eliminate toxins from food and the environment with the help of your liver, which also aids in the metabolism of estrogens. As a result, patients with fatty liver who consume alcohol will typically have higher levels of estradiol on their blood work, because their liver is incapable of clearing out the estrogens. So, if you've been diagnosed with fatty liver, the good news is that it's a treatable and reversible condition. One of the most important aspects of treatment is your diet. Paleo diet is recommended by experts, which is a diet similar to that of our Paleolithic forefathers. So it's similar to a caveman or Stone Age diet. The paleo diet is similar to the Whole30 diet that excludes grains, which are a major cause of insulin resistance and fat storage in the liver. Vegetables are the most important part of the diet. So you want vegetables at the very bottom of your food pyramid. As a result, make sure that half to 3/4 of your plate is always composed of vegetables. Exercise is also extremely beneficial in the treatment of insulin resistance. However, diet is the most important factor in curing fatty liver disease, regardless of what you may have heard. So you want to avoid sugar, alcoholic beverages, grains, dairy products, vegetable oils, and processed foods. You'd probably be thinking, how are dairy products considered a problem? Well, it's because dairy products contain lactose, a milk sugar that is made from glucose and galactose. And, as you may recall, glucose is harmful to fatty liver disease. The whey protein, which is also found in dairy products, increases pancreatic insulin production. As a result, it contributes to the cycle of insulin resistance. And how about healthy fats like avocados, olive oil, and nuts? These foods are nutrient-dense and recommended as part of the paleo diet because they increase satiety, which keeps you full and lowers insulin levels as well as your hunger and cravings. Concerning eggs, many people are uncertain. Eggs that have been raised on pastures are actually a very nourishing source of protein, omega-3 fatty acids, and vitamin D for the diet. The majority of American breakfasts are high in carbohydrates and sugars. So it is recommended eating eggs and vegetables for breakfast to keep you full while also keeping your insulin levels low. Another alternative is to skip breakfast. We refer to this as intermittent fasting. Did you know that your liver can be impacted by the bacteria in your gut microbiome? This is referred to as the gut-liver axis. According to studies, the gut microbiome and the health of your liver cells have a bidirectional relationship. Depending on the type of food you eat, a number of metabolites or postbiotics are produced by the bacteria in your gut, and these can have an influence on liver inflammation. This is why a stool microbiome test can be extremely beneficial, allowing doctors to provide specific guidelines on what type of probiotic would be best for your health. In conclusion, fatty liver disease is an inflammatory disorder of the liver caused by carbohydrates and insulin resistance. The good news is that it can be reversed with diet. That's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. For more information on liver, subscribe to our channel Total Liver Health.